Hey, boos. Hey. It is your girl, the Rising Phoenix Empath, coming at you from Maryland. And I want to jump on real quick today. And today's topic is going to be 10 family friendship dynamics of the chosen. So I'm going to break down 10 different relational dynamics that chosen ones will experience with friends and family. Okay, chosen ones. I first of all, I want to say I missed y'all, and I hope y'all miss me too. I miss you guys. I miss you guys. I've been outside. I've been outside, and I feel so good. I feel so great. Um, I have some projects coming up. I've been busy with those things, and I've just been really busy. You know, just trying to do a lot of self improvement, right, in my life. And so I have not given up on the RPE tribe. I have not been posting like I was. That's going to change. I'm going to finish like I started. But I just been busy, and after May, I needed a breather because May was a very hard month for me. As I said before, I think in a previous video, it was Mother's Day. It was my father's birthday. It was my parents' anniversary. And so the month of May is, you know, it was a good month, but I grieved too. I grieved a lot in May, right? Did a lot of reflecting. And I didn't feel led in the month of June and May to post a lot. And I really wanted to get back into posting insightful and spirit led things and topics, which I feel like I've always done that, but really not wanting to feel that, oh my gosh, I have to post this week just to be posting. And I always, want to do everything that I do with purpose. I want you guys to love it. I want you guys to like it, but I also want it to be led by God, by spirit, by source. Okay? So that's why you have been seeing less of me, but that's going to change. I have some ideas coming up. I'm not going to speak too much on it now. They're in the making. But be looking out for a few things I got baking in the oven. I won't talk about it too much right now, but I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you're here. And I miss and love the chosen ones, the RPE tribe, Rising Phoenix Empath. And I'm so glad that you're here. Okay? Didn't mean to get off topic, but that's what you love about me. I go off on a tantrum sometimes. I've warned you about that. So let's get into it. Okay, the 10 family friendship dynamics of the chosen. Okay, let's get into it, family. Number one is the chosen early in life is not financially abundant, but people still see the hand of God on your life. Meaning, I have found that the chosen ones have very humble beginnings. Okay? So, and I did. As a child, we had everything we needed, thank God, but we had humble beginnings, right? And I'm not ashamed of that because I had parents, a mom and a dad that got up and went to work every day, and they worked very hard. And even still early in life, things were very financially stressful for my parents, but they never gave up, and they remained honorable in how they showed up in society. They worked hard, and they were able to raise a family and children who have that same moral compass as it pertains to work, okay, and working hard, okay. So, but early on, chosen ones, that family dynamic is you're coming from humble beginnings. And even when I ventured out off into being an adult, right? I ventured off because my parents did go on to purchase a home and do things as I got older, right? And but things were still, they had their seasons of financial hardships. And I experienced that. And let me tell you, and I experienced that with them. And let me tell you, chosen ones, that thing, if that does not breed character, it was supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be that way because in that season, you built so much character and humility, chosen ones. And it was supposed to be. And even when you ventured off into adulthood, compared to, your other friends, you seem to always have less than. Right? And even still, even with, being that friend who always struggled and who, I was able to obtain home ownership, at 27. Right? I was able to do that. But, I did so in a very humble neighborhood. It was the hood. It was more of a hood than what I grew up in. Like, but it was a house. It was a townhouse. It was 3 stories. God blessed me with a home. But it was a home in the hood. It was in the hood. And my other friends, were also purchasing homes in upscale neighborhoods, right? So while I was able to achieve certain things, God still had me in a place of humility and being humble. And I always felt like the friend that couldn't go because I didn't have the money to do certain things, right? And so people wanted to pay my way, and I wasn't a friend that was going to always let you pay her way, because my thing is, if you don't have it, sit out. You got to sit it out. I'm not big on begging, and I can humble myself and accept help when I need to, but I'm just not going to take unnecessarily for so that we can go out and have fun. Like, I'm not going to be that friend that tags along with no money and that you're going to have to pay my way. That's not going to be me. I'm going to sit it out. But in my friend groups, in all of my friend groups, because you got different friends and different friend groups, I was always the one who kind of was in lack. But even though I was in that lack, I had other friends that were in seasons of abundance that was hating on me, and I didn't get it. And I'm going to tell you, chosen ones, even in your season of lack, when you see that you may not have as much as some of your other friends, right? I want to let you know that they see the hand of God over your life. They see your gifts, even when you don't, because, being in that place of always having lack is a mind screw, right? And we're still growing, and it can have you in a place of feeling inferior to your other friends, right? And so you operate like that. You operate in like you're inferior. Right? And that's not their fault. That's something you got to deal with. But it doesn't help when you have some friends who lord over you and purposely make you feel inferior, who add to that. Right? But I want you to know that those relationship dynamics, they see the greatness in you, and it is their absolute positive worst fear for them to see you come into yourself. So it's their job. They don't even realize it. They're operating under the guise of the enemy and of the darkness, and it is their call and it is their destiny in some cases to keep you at bay, to keep you low vibrational, to keep you feeling less than, to keep you feeling inferior. And so that's a real thing, a relationship dynamic, when you feel that you don't have as much as some of your other friends, and yet there's something that some of them sees in you. Now, not all of your friends have done this. I'm not saying all of your friends, but I'm sure, chosen ones, you can count out at least 1 or 2 people who had you under their thumb. And there are 2 people that come up whose names I can think of right off the bat, who had significantly more than me, but also wanted to keep me in a place of inferiority. And looking back, I know that it was because they saw the call that God had on my life. They saw my giftings, and their worst fear ever would be that I would come into myself. Okay? So that's number one. Okay? Number one is being in a place of lack earlier in life, but having friends who, even though you weren't there yet, was hating on the sidelines. That's number one. Number two, out of all of your friends, this is another dynamic, chosen ones, and let me just say this, chosen ones, we are beautiful people inside and out, right? We're the full package, inside and out, right? But we might not have the societal things that, society says makes a drop dead gorgeous girl. We might not be a size 0. We might not have blonde hair. We might not have, a size D bra. We might not be shaped like Betty Boop, right? Because society tells us that there's certain things. We might not have curly, long, flowing hair. We might have big afro curl hair. We are beautiful, right? And no way am I saying we are not beautiful, but we are not society's standard of beauty. However, when it's time to throw it on, we can stand in line with everybody and be equal. And I believe this about myself, right? I'm not the girl. If I was with every friend that I've ever had, right? Because I've had some beautiful women as friends, beautiful women, right? And we're all beautiful. But I might not be the girl that everybody's going to want. But understand, chosen one. Chosen ones. This goes for men too. You might not be society's pick, but that is exactly what sets you apart, because even though you are not society's standard of what beautiful or handsome is, your unique beauty physically, and I'm not even talking about the beauty on the inside, your uniqueness physically, you still stand out in the crowd, even when you don't realize that you do, chosen ones. Okay? And I want you to know that. I want you to know that. So you might have the, number two, out of all of your friendship groups, all of your friends, you might not be, what society deems to be beautiful, but chosen ones, you're beautiful, and they see it. And when I say they, I mean everybody. They see it. It's something special about you. It's something different about you that sets you apart. And all the right people, all the people that really matter will see it. And the people that will overlook you are those people who are looking through shallow lenses. Okay? Number 3. Early in life, your friends will lord over you and establish themselves as your superior. This is interchangeable to friends, relatives, and siblings. And what I mean by that, chosen ones, is kind of going back to number 1. You may have had humble beginnings, right? And so, or you might not even feel as secure as you should about yourself. And there are certain friends that knew that. And so they took the opportunity to lord over you with the fact that they may, be doing better in life in that season, or lord over you because they are able to identify your insecurities about yourself that has nothing to do with them or what you have, but just, the experiences that you've had in relationships. People have always purposely tried to shrink you, and you, not knowing any better, allowed yourselves to shrink. And the wrong people were able to benefit off of that. And they were able to lord over you as superior. And you allowed them to for a season. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4. You may not have been unconventionally a genius, right? But your creativity is so profound that people see the gifting and go out of their way to ensure you don't. This goes hands in hand with 3 and 1. I always admit that, hey, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, right? I could be a little flighty. I can be, and but what I'm good at, I'm good at. Where I thrive, I thrive. And one thing about it is that God has put something in me that has given me the ability to create. You hear me? To create beautiful things. I'm so excited. These are some of the projects I have coming up. I'm not going to speak on it too much, but I know I have a God-given anointing to create and to write and to visualize and to bring those things into physical manifestation and fruition. It's a gift that not everybody has. And so I want you to know, chosen ones, and here the relationship dynamic may be you in the classroom when you're younger and how you're made to feel stupid. Because let me give you an example. I was not conventionally a genius, and I actually grew up thinking I was dumb and stupid because as a young kid, I was never diagnosed with ADD until later on in life. And I was never ever diagnosed with dyslexia, but maybe all the way up into maybe the 6th grade, I was writing some things backwards still because it's how I saw the world, right? And it made it more difficult for me to learn. And so I felt stupid. I felt dumb, right? And sometimes to escape that and so that nobody else would see, I would be disruptive in class. I would be the class clown. I would do things to make people laugh to keep them from seeing the fact that I was different, right? And at the time, when I was a young kid, there was no ADD, there was no ADHD. You were even typical or labeled retarded and slow. Okay, there was no in between. Okay, and so I grew up in a place who really didn't know how to help me process what I was seeing and how I was learning and how I was perceiving things. And because I didn't always perceive these things the way that maybe the rest of the class did, I was made to feel like I was stupid or wrong for that. And I'm going to just give you an example. I know I said that about 5 minutes ago. I'm going to give you an example. An example is never really been good at math. And so maybe it was geometry. We're doing the geometry, or no, algebra. Geometry, or I don't know. I think it was algebra. We're doing the algebra. It was algebra because I never got past algebra in high school because I wasn't good at math. We're doing algebra, and I just couldn't understand, the method they were using to get to their answer. So the way I understood it, when I computed and did the math, I got the exact same answer in fewer steps doing something totally different. And the teacher said it was unacceptable. But if you ask me, it was brilliant, because here they had this kid doing a 20-step problem that I figured out the answer to in just 5, but because I didn't do it exactly the way they wanted me to do it, they marked it wrong and didn't give me credit. And in essence, you feel like you're stupid and you're wrong, when in actuality, you are and were an innovator, and really before your time, chosen ones. So I want you to be encouraged that we are, especially if you are a 70s kid, we are the latchkey kids that grew up without medication, that grew up without a diagnosis, and that we had to process these things all on our own. Okay, and figure life out on our own without all of these things, without any help, without any assistance. And that right there should tell you how special you are, chosen ones. I want to encourage you to know, because that experience alone is enough to really pick away at your security, right? And for years and years, I felt less than, and I felt stupid. I did, right? I did. And because of the behavior problems that I had, and I was even kept back in the first grade. And it really does something to your mind to see all of your peers going to the next level and you're staying back. And you're totally misunderstood. And, there's a stigma that came with that. I felt stupid. And I want you to know, chosen ones, if you've ever been through something like this, that it was nothing but the enemy trying to pick away at your confidence, trying to, at a very early age, tell you you're nothing, tell you you're stupid, tell you you're dumb, so that you wouldn't even have the rationale to go after your destiny. All right. Number 5. Now this, trigger warning. Trigger warning. This is going to be a trigger warning. Okay. Number 5. You are your mother's favorite, your father's favorite, your grandmother's favorite, or you are all the matriarch's favorite. Now, I ain't saying, trigger warning, because, everybody got a favorite. It's okay. And I know in a lot of cases in my family, I was not a lot of people's, I was nobody's favorite. But I was the favorite of the people that mattered most in the family. I'ma say it. I don't care. I know how people felt about me. I know and it's not that they love me more or anything like that, but I think that certain people, like your mother, your father, your grandparents, I think they appreciate the authenticity of a child, a granddaughter who wants to do the right thing, who they see early on, even as a child. Nobody is perfect. We all got our stuff with us and our idiosyncrasies, right? But they see very early as a child how high your moral compass is, and quite honestly, they're impressed. They're impressed, chosen ones. They see it in you, and they might not know what it is. They can't put their finger on it. My mother knew what it was with me. Like, and I think my mother she loved her. Let me say something. She would die for all her kids. My mother and my father. They loved their kids. I'm not trying to say, nobody else, didn't have. Look, my parents loved all of their kids. But I also know the interpersonal relationships I had in those spaces with my parents and the things that I've experienced with them. Right? And this creates a hatred towards you by your siblings, by one sibling, or maybe all of them, or maybe some of them, right? It creates a sibling rivalry that breeds hatred in some cases. And this is where a lot of sibling rivalries come from. A child being, or perceived to be a favorite. Okay? That's number 5. You are a favorite. And that favoritism breeds a sibling rivalry that breeds hatred. Okay? I told you it was a trigger warning. Not for us. For other people. Alright. Number 6. Okay. This is another trigger warning. I'm drinking grapefruit seltzer water. Helps settle my stomach. Okay, number 6. This is a trigger warning. Now, this trigger warning, chosen ones, is for you. Okay? Number 6 is, no matter how much of a loser your woman or man may be, no matter how low below the bar they may fall, and you pick them, chosen ones, because you're at a place in your life where you don't know your worth and you're broke. You're operating in brokenness from these relationship traumas and these relational traumas that you've experienced in all aspects of your life. You don't know who you are, right? And so you've picked somebody who falls way below the bar. And no matter how much of a loser this woman or man may be, a friend, sibling, or a family member will always initiate an inappropriate relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend. I've had this happen to me. Okay? That I know of. I've had one friend sleep with my ex-husband. And I've had a friend. I've only had 2 serious relationships in my whole life. And I had a friend deal with my fiance while we were engaged. I've had, when we were breaking up, I've had him reach out to family members to initiate relationships, and they bit. And they don't think I know. But I do. I know. And it's amazing I can smile. But no matter how low below the bar you go, no matter what trash can you dig this joker up out of, or this Jezebel up out of, somebody in your circle will always bite or initiate an inappropriate relationship with them, whether it be a romantic relationship, any relationship that anybody has with your ex or your significant other without your knowledge is inappropriate, even if it's friendship. Understand that. That's for number 1. Number 2 is, it doesn't matter if it's just a friendship. Because I'm not going to get an enemy that full hoe. For number 1, that's not somebody I want to be. It's certain things I just can't look in the mirror and do to somebody that I call a family member, even if we're not in good standing right now. Certain things I'm just not going to do. I'm my mama's child. I'm my mother's child. And it's just certain things I'm not going to do. And it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the heart of who I am, to my soul and to my core. And so number 6 is you will always have people who will be willing to try what you have just because it's yours, no matter how low no matter how far below the bar they fall. Chosen ones, I want you to understand that even your trash, you make trash valuable to the people who hate you in secret. Number 7, your long-term friendships will be driven by jealousy. People will be your friend for years and secretly hate you. And I have 4 indications of this. I've experienced this. People who are your friends who really jealous of you and who talk about you and tell your business to all their other friends. I've experienced this for 25 years. I've experienced this. Okay? And here's 4 indications that is happening. Number 1, they can never truly be happy for you. You can always see, like when they say, the saying that Satan is bold, the devil is bold, is so true. These people cannot hide their disdain when good things happen for you. Even when they smile, you can feel it. And maybe it's because they can't, not that they're not hiding it, but chosen ones, I want you to understand we have a gift inside of us of intuitions. We are seers, right? And prophetic to a degree that we know when people are truly happy and unhappy for us when good things are happening for us. We know. Number 2, because even though you sense, okay, so these are the 4 indications that we know that you have people in your camp that are your friends and that have been your longtime friends for years who don't like you. And these are 4 indications. Number 1, they can never be happy for you. Number 2, you tell them all your business and it get to a point where they calling just to listen to, just to see what happened next. And it got to a point where this person would call me and I stopped giving him stuff. I stopped talking about my marriage. I stopped talking about things that was happening in my family that were sacred, that I shouldn't have been sharing any damn way. Right? But you think you got a friend and you need somebody to help you process some stuff. But these people are judging you and they're going back and telling your sacred secrets to their friend groups who really don't like you because of all the horrible stuff they're hearing about you from your friend. That's we gotta get to that. We're gonna get to that. So for number 2, calls you just to hear your business and it get to a point where you know that that's why they calling you. And so you just stop talking. And when you stop talking, you realize they ain't told you nothing. You don't know nothing sacred about them. Because they don't view you like you view them, boo. Okay? And number 3 indication, their friends will dislike you even though you've never done anything to them. See, these people talk about you in such a derogatory way to their friends. Their friends don't like you. And you've always been a friend to this person. You've never not been a friend to this person. But this person is so jealous of you. And they talk about you like a dog to all their friends. That their friends who are supposed to be Bible thumpers, instead of saying, dang, that's your friend. Why you telling me her business? She hasn't done anything. Instead of saying that and telling her she's wrong, they're going to validate everything she says and they're going to go along with it. Because they'd rather be her friend than hold her accountable for the wickedness that she doing or that he doing. And number 4, this is the 4th way and final way. And when I say final, it really is final way. You'll know that you had a friend that really didn't bang with you like that, but was just your friend for real, until something better came along, until she felt like or he felt like he got one up on you, right? When they obtained what they coveted about you, they would literally stop being your friend out of fear that you will do the same thing to them that they did to you. And so that's guilt. When people know they did you wrong when you was married, when people know they talked about you like a dog, when you were down and out. See, when people get up on their high horse and when they get what they always coveted from you, whether it be a man, a marriage, a house, whatever it is, when they get what they feel like they standing on top of the world, they gonna treat you like you was the one who did all these evil Judas-like things. They gonna treat you, and that's how you gonna know. Because when you know how you showed up for people, that's how you're gonna know that everything they trying to, you not invited over, you not getting invitations to the house. It's almost like you did everything to them that they really did to you. They scared to death that they gonna get it back in karma. But guess what, baby? I'm not you. The chosen ones are not you. And we would never in a million years do to you what you did to us. Not only that, we wouldn't do to you, we wouldn't do it to an enemy what you have done to us, because it's not in our hearts to treat other people the way you treated us. And so we're not going to get you back because it's not in us to do it. It's just not in us to be like that. But guess what? You getting it back. And guess what, chosen ones? God going to work it out in such a way. When these people get it back, you going to have a front row seat. And guess what you going to do? Guess what we going to do? We going to pray for them. We going to have compassion and empathy for them. And we going to love them from way over there. But we going to pray for them. Because I wouldn't treat a dog the way some of y'all so-called friends have treated you over the years, unbeknownst to you, or maybe in your face. Okay? So that was number 7. Your long-term friends hate you and really are your enemies and want what you have. And when they finally achieve some semblance of that success, they will cut you off out of fear that you will be to them what they were to you. Number 8, chosen ones, and I can attest to this, I've been this, and not just for my son, right? You will be the caregiver everyone can depend on. And if this ain't the truth, I don't know what is. And I ain't talking about for 2 weeks. I'm talking about a lifestyle of taking people to doctor's appointments, helping people, babysitting for people, taking people's kids to college visits, doing everything for people, being everything for everybody, doing everything for people. You will be the caregiver. And when it's all said and done, the people that should care for you will not. That's a relationship dynamic. That's what it is. Now, I'm going to tell you, I cared for both of my parents. right? I didn't have to care for my mom like that because she wasn't that ill. She kind of suddenly died. Now, my dad has been ill for quite some time, was ill for quite some time. And I walked with my dad through his transition, and I think God made it like that. It was supposed to be like that. For so long, I was angry, but God knew what He was doing, right? And I was able to help my dad in different ways, and he was actually able to help me. But in so many instances in my family, I have helped everybody. I have helped, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not going, I ain't going to name names or nothing like this, but this is how I feel, chosen ones. I have helped everybody, and I'm not talking about my parents, because we're called to do that. We're called to do that. It's a duty and a responsibility, married or not. We're supposed to do that, right? I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about everybody else, right? Single mom. I got a son, I got a daughter, and a special needs son. Kids over my house the weekend. I'm getting my kids. I'm in my nieces and nephews' lives. I'm helping people that, as they need help. People can depend on me. People can depend on me. My son, 17 years old, my special needs son, 17 years old, has never spent the night not over one of my siblings' house. Something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. I ain't going, that's how I feel. That's my truth. And I'm going to stand in that. Something wrong with that. People of God. Something wrong with that. That little sis has always been able to be there for everybody, and nobody could have been there for me, especially since my parents died. And it's okay. I'm not bitter about it, but I'm hurt. I'm hurt. And not for me. Because even if you don't like me, how you gonna throw him away? That's how I feel. And he's 17 now, and he will be a grown man in a few months. He'll be 18. And at this point, if you don't have relationship, you will never have relationship. And I will never expose him to you because I don't trust you. Number 9. None of it is reciprocated. Friendships, romantic relationships, relative relationships, you done been down and you go hard or go home for everybody else, chosen ones, but nobody in your life ever goes home or goes hard for you. It's never reciprocated. This is a big one. And this is the biggest trauma of them all. None of it's ever reciprocated, chosen ones. But let me tell you something. All of it is building your character. All of it is building humility. And all of it is making you so strong, because not only are you a chosen one, but you are a warrior of the light. You are a straight warrior. And this is girding you up. And this is making you strong. And this is giving you strength. And this is making you the soldier of light you are supposed to be. Please don't let this make you angry. But I need you not to make you, change. Don't let it change you. Don't let it make you angry. But you need to acknowledge the lack of reciprocity in your life. And you need to cut that thing off. We not matching energy. We can't match the energy, chosen ones, because it's not in us to do it. But we need to adjust the energy we give accordingly. And we need to protect our energy. Because everybody ain't worthy of it. And we are at a phase and at a point in our lives where we have grown and we have been through the trials and the tribulations, and we've been through the heartbreak and the pain, and we have been girded up with the strength of our circumstances, and it just comes time when we got to let it loose, because God is about to loose you, and you can't be attached to anybody that's just along for the ride. You can't be attached to just anybody who want to just drag along, and who has not fed, who has not put into you, who has not fed you, who has not prayed for you, who has not stood in a gap for you. You got to get people out of your life, because if you got friends in your life and you got family in your life, if you got anybody in your life who have not put into you the level of love, care, and nourishment that you have put into them, you got to get them out of your life, because chosen ones, they are your enemies. I need you to realize that. And I'm not talking about you doing something nice for somebody a couple of times. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a lifestyle of people drawing from you and using you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you being nice and you doing things for people. And maybe they don't have it to give it back. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a lifestyle of people who use and abuse you. Because it's a form of abuse. To call me, to not call me when you hear I got a job, and then to call me when you need me to come and pick you up, to call me when you need me, or when you want something, is a form of abuse. Chosen ones, we got to cut them off. Some people ain't is non-reciprocal because they just selfish as hell. Okay? Everybody don't need to be cut off now. But I want you to recognize that some of this non-reciprocity is coming from your enemies. People who want to see you down. People, you couldn't even give what you could give. You ain't pray for me. You ain't wish the best for me. Even if you can't give me nothing tangibly, because I don't want nothing. But you couldn't give me what was free. You couldn't give me love. That's free. You couldn't give me your loyalty back. That's free. You couldn't give me honor and respect. Those things are free. It costs nothing for you to give those things. People who can't reciprocate in that way to you are your enemies. I need you to know that. Number 9, they don't reciprocate. Number 10, the last but not least, as a result of all the relational traumas and all the different dynamics of these friendships and relationships and family dynamics that we have experienced over the years during a lifetime, the trauma accumulated from all of these will have you in a state of brokenness, forgetting who you are, and insecurity. And when you finally break away from these dysfunctional dynamics, you're depleted. But chosen ones, I want you to know that people, and oftentimes these are people that you've had long-term relationships with. These are people that you were born into families with these people. And there's been a lifetime of abuse, physical, verbal, and otherwise. And I'm not saying you ain't never done nothing to them, because shoot, if somebody hit me, I'm hitting them back. Right? I'm not talking about reactive abuse. I'm not a malicious person. I'm not a malicious person. And I'm not a hateful, vindictive, passive-aggressive kind of a person. And I just don't move like that. So if I did something to you, what you do to me? Because the S in save don't stand for sucker. So number 10 is these things leave you in a place of brokenness, insecurity, and inferiority. But chosen ones, I want you to know that if I listed all of these 10 relationship dynamics, and you have identified with at least 4 of them, you are chosen. And for real, most of us have dealt with all of it. From the family dynamics to the friends, sleeping with your exes, sleeping with your husband, sleeping with your friends, you making everything look good. I want you to know how anointed you are. The only thing special about those people were you. You was the special. It was you. All along it was you, chosen ones. And I want you to know, no matter what you've been through, no matter what relationship dynamic you identify with, I want you to know that you have made it. And that you have cut the cord from these people, and that God has even so much as created the chasm. And I'm going to do a video on what the chasm is and why God will create the chasm to keep certain people from you so that you can fulfill your destiny. I want you to know, chosen ones, it didn't kill you. It made you stronger. And I want you to know that the enemy don't waste time on somebody who doesn't have a significant call upon their lives. And I want you to rise above it. The only difference between us and the toxic people of the world is that we decide to take the negative, hurtful, traumatic things and events that we've been through in life, and instead of using those things as an excuse to hurt other people, we use those things and we mold those things to work to our greater good. That is why we are chosen ones. I want you to know you're loved. I want you to know you are deeply respected. I want you to know that I'm so excited to see what Source is going to do in your life, and whatever God is bringing into fruition through you, we need it. Because we are living in a very, very, very dark world, and whatever God is creating inside of you, we need it. Don't give up, chosen ones. This is the RPE tribe, the chosen ones tribe, and we need what you have to offer. Let this be your safe place. You're understood. You are acknowledged. You are loved. And you are chosen ones. Until next time, I pray the abundance of God on your life. I pray peace. I pray love. I pray joy. And more than that, I pray that you keep on pressing, because these dynamic relations, these toxic dynamics in relationships were bred to break you. And it didn't. It didn't. Keep on pushing. Keep on being you. Keep on doing you. Don't let this change you. But understand that it can't come with you. It can't come with you. You must come from amongst them. For God has created you for such great things, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your strength. And I want you to know that every day you decide not to go back to any dysfunctional dynamic is a day that you choose self-love, is a day that you're that much closer to bringing to fruition the very thing that God created you for. I love you, chosen ones. It's been 54 minutes and 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. I love you. You got this. It's going to be okay. And I'll see you on the other side of this. But you must move forward, because your destiny is too great for you to drop it and give up now. All right? I love you, chosen ones. Until next time.